All right, welcome. Happy Friday. Good morning to you all, or good morning to you whenever you decide to watch this. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Some of you are in different parts of the world. It's been nice. It's nice being back. But yeah, you guys know the routine. It's been a hot minute, so let's get some other people on here, and then let's get this party started. A lot to discuss, so it's going to be fun today. If you jump on, let me know where you're at. And I know yeah, we got a lot to cover. Give me just a second. To share this out. Um, so I know for a lot of you, it's early. I know my Phoenix peeps. We're now, in the last 2 weeks, we've had the daylight savings stuff happen in the rest of the country, not so much in Arizona, but in the rest of the country, we had daylight savings. So we had to adjust fire a little bit. And I've been gone, was on a trip, went down to Arizona. I think I mentioned that the last time I saw you guys. Uh, Great vacation, got to see some buddies. And then the reason why I didn't do a show last week is because I did a family trip down to Mexico. We were just south of Cancun, between Cancun and Tulum. Great vacation. I'm actually, if you guys don't mind, I'll share a little bit with you about it because it really kind of brought some things um into perspective. You go on these resort trips and whatnot. We were fortunate enough to go. We stayed at a place down near the Riviera Maya, I believe it was called. And it was a resort. It wasn't exclusive, but it was a resort. Nice place. But then you go outside of the resort and you kind of see what real life is like in that area. And it was just a reminder of what we take for granted here in the United States. So it's really quite something else. Doug, I see you over there on the Instagram, brother. How you doing? Appreciate you jumping on, man. Um, so it was a nice trip. I turned 47. It wasn't a birthday trip plan. It just kind of happened that way. It was great. Went down with Mrs. HMG and Little Bird. Um, Fun, good trip. I mean, I recommend anybody that if you get the opportunity to go down to Mexico, to go down there. We went to uh, Chichen Itza, which is one of the seven wonders of the world, right? And just a magical place. It's something I've always wanted to go to since I was young. Beautiful there, and got to really immerse into the Mayan and Aztec cultures, and that was something I was infatuated with when I was a kid. And it was nice to actually go there and see that, and then go into the communities around there and see the people eat the local food. The food down there was just food was amazing. It was, you know, fresh, and it was, colorful, and it was like the way food was meant to be presented and eaten, and it was just fantastic. I think the biggest surprise part of the trip for me was when we went down to Tulum, another Mayan ruin, and it was on a kind of a cliff side overlooking the Caribbean Sea, and just how beautiful it was. And there was a lot of people there cleaning up. They're finding new sites and stuff on that area, and you don't realize how much you're in the jungle. Like, you're literally in the jungle, and then it opens up, and then you have this vast, stone buildings and stuff like that. And it was really, and I share this because it was for me, it was again a trip that I've always wanted to do. And was fortunate enough to be able to go, and I'm very appreciative of it. But I encourage anybody, if you have the opportunity to go down to, it's just south of Cancun, is where we stayed. Go down there. Go down. Take a family trip down there. It's well worth it. Um, the culture is absolutely amazing, and beautiful. And it's funny. This is really kind of what it brings in. Tony, I see you, brother. How you doing? Um, I said we take things for granted. I think we it's easy for us to take things for granted. You want to talk about like a night and day difference from here in the United States down to the Yucatan Peninsula, down there in Mexico, and it was seeing how people live. Again, was at a resort, no big deal. And I say no big deal because the people at the resort were great. They're very friendly, very nice. Um, but one of the things, whether you're at the resort, outside the resort, or in these small, jungle communities, the biggest thing that they push down there is La Familia, and like family. And it was always like family, family, family. And you see how the men treat the wives treat the kids, how the men treat the kids. And it was really kind of astonishing to just see, like, man, everybody is so, enwrapped in each other, and it's all about family down there. And I had a small conversation with a local gentleman, and this was the day we were down in Chichen Itza, which is kind of in the center of the peninsula. And he asked where I was from. I was like, "Oh, United States." And he, he said, "Why are you guys so negative right now?" And it's funny because it kind of set me back, and I was just like, at the same time, I got what he was saying. There's a lot of negativity that's going on up here. Down there, I didn't have, that day we didn't have, cell service. You have a little bit, but it's like it's not 5G, it's still 3G as far as like internet connections and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, um, you see what we take for granted, and it makes you realize how grateful we should be for the things that we have. At the same time, it reminded me of what I say each week is, protect our minds. Our mainstream media is so toxic, and there's so much negativity that's what we get, I will say, groomed, um, until you go to a place like this outside of the United States and you realize, okay, it's not like this everywhere. So it was so I say that, in my rant, is that it was very refreshing, to see. Gene, good morning to you, brother. How are you? So again, if you get the opportunity to travel outside of the continental United States, do so and really get a feel for that. I'd go back in a heartbeat. If you asked me to say, "Hey, Adam, let's go down to the Yucatan Peninsula this weekend," I'd meet you at the airport today. Like, it was, just a fantastic experience, very eye opening. Um, we did a couple of excursions. I went snorkeling for the first time in my life. I'm working on some. Uh, I don't have it with me, but I got my GoPro and I got some fish stuff, and I'll post that stuff next week. So it was just an overall good experience. But with all of that said, I missed the hell out of you guys, and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back into the office this week. We're going to be home now for, a small stint for about a month or two before we get back on the road, and whatnot. I didn't get to do, and this is my favorite time of year. This is my favorite time of year. Birthday, and then 2 days later, you got St. Patrick's Day. No, one of my favorite holidays, right? And so I wore the clover, bow tie. I know we're past the St. Patrick stuff, and if you missed my St. Patrick's Day post on my personal page, go look at the profile picture. I think a lot of you will appreciate the shirt that I have on. That being said, warning, read it carefully and make sure there's no small children around. So cheers. What else is going on? March Madness is in full swing. How many people are doing the brackets? I saw a study recently within the last 2 days that a lot of people don't do the brackets anymore. I found that to be pretty interesting. And what's funny is like this year, I was gonna go down to the Final Four. I thought it was in Houston. I don't know why I thought that. It's in San Antonio. And with all my travel stuff going on because junior's graduating here soon, I figured I'd stay home for a month before everything gets chaotic and got to get junior situated after his graduation. But um, does any? I'll just throw this out there. I didn't really have anything planned to talk about the NCAA Final Four or anything like that. Who's your pick for the big dance this year? Creighton's doing good. I got some ties there, and that's I'm always cheering them on. Wisconsin's doing pretty good. Arizona's looking good. Who's the Cinderella team? Who's going to be the Cinderella team this year in the NCAA Final Four? Men's and women's. Let's talk about the women's side of things as well. So if anybody's got anything out there, leave a comment below. Let me know. What else happened while we were gone? I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Daylight savings, that crap. And I guess what was it yesterday? What's today? Today's Friday the 21st. So I guess yesterday was like the official first day of spring. It is warming up out here in the east. Got a little bit of rain, so those spring showers are starting to come, and that's welcome. But the daylight saving. So I kind of forgot about it a couple weeks ago. So it's the time change. I know a lot of my Arizona people. It's early down there, so when you watch this, thank you. Love y'all. And make sure you guys share this. Let's dive into some of the topics that we've saw. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. This week particular, I got some news articles that I kind of picked out that I thought were interesting. You guys know how I do it. Gene, what do we have here? Yeah, there's lots. And here's the thing. Those of you guys know, people ask me this, like, why do you do the show Friday mornings at 9 a.m. when we got a lot of people out in Colorado, we got people out in Arizona, I got a couple people up in Washington, just outside of Tacoma. Why do you do it at this time? Honestly, only time I have, because I got other stuff going on and I really want to do the show. I would like to do it at night. I'm thinking about doing a happy hour show maybe once a month, twice a month. If that's something you guys are interested in, let me put that out there. I'm throwing myself under the bus this morning because I haven't had a full cup of coffee yet. What are you guys' thoughts about doing a happy hour? And I say happy hour, like any type of topics, get a couple people in. There's a couple of shows that do it already. I'm not going to do it on those nights and whatnot. Would change it up a little bit, but maybe doing a happy hour where we dive into maybe some of these topics on Friday mornings and we dive a little bit deeper into some of that stuff. So I don't know. Think about it. I want your guys' input on that. Leave a comment if you like that idea. So let's go ahead and begin. I got some of you on here right now. Let's participate. Make sure you guys share this out. Those of you that are podcasters or authors, if you're looking to for anybody to help you out with your podcast growth, become part of the HMG family, look us up, heroesmediagroup.com. We've got a great new website up, a lot of great shows on the network. If you're an author looking to get your manuscript put into an audio book, that's something that we can certainly help you out with as well. And there's a slew of other resources and tools that we offer as well. So go check it out, heroesmediagroup.com. So let's dive into some of the topics that I picked out this week. And then if you guys got anything that I don't bring up, leave a comment. Let's talk about it. First up is Trump signs an executive order to begin closing the Department of Education. What are your guys' thoughts on this? I believe this was yesterday. President Donald Trump signed an executive order to begin dismantling the Department of Education. Quote, today we take a very historic action that was 45 years in the making, end quote. That's from President Trump. In a few moments, we will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the federal Department of Education once and for all. We're going to be returning education very simply back to the states where it belongs, adding that the action is a common sense thing to do, end quote. Probably the cost will be half and the education may be many, many times better, President Trump said. What are your guys' thoughts on the dismantling of the Department of Education? Got mixed feelings on it myself personally. I think I like that he said that we're going to be returning education simply back to the states. I think that's a good start because I think everything should be going through the states anyway. That's how the government was designed. It wasn't the federal government's job to be doing it. It's bring it down to the state levels. But at the same time, what are the pros and cons to that? What does that mean for teachers and whatnot? I think the curriculums. I've been in schools many times as a substitute teacher for a few years. I've been a big proponent of private school since I've been a big advocate for private schools and homeschooling. But that said, I love my teachers. Our educators are our community heroes. As long as they're not meeting a certain criteria said or put on, like you have to teach this or you have to teach that. That's the part that bothers me. I think if it's a teacher's classroom, they should be able to teach X, Y, and Z within a certain parameters of things that are, I would say common sense. But maybe I'm wrong. What are your guys' thoughts on the dismantling of the Department of Education? I think it could be a move in the right direction and set up. Let's bring it back to the states. Now, what the big thing is what are the states going to do then? So it's going to be interesting. Thoughts on that? Let me hear what you guys have to say. This is a big one. I hope you guys are listening to this one. $580 million in DoD contracts cut. This was on X yesterday with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, which Pete's great. I love Pete. I think he's doing an outstanding job. Doge went in, figured out where money was being spent uselessly, and then Pete breaks it down, and this is what I love. The top contract being cut is a software development program for the defense civilian human resource management system, which was intended to streamline a significant portion of the DoD's legacy human resource program. The program started in 2018 and was supposed to take 1 year to develop at a cost of $36 million. However, it has taken nearly 8 years behind schedule and is $280 million over budget. So that's a 780% over budget. And Pete says, no, cut it. We're not doing that anymore. True Patriot, Gene, I'll get to you in just a second on a comment. So that's the first cut. Then he goes on and says the Pentagon is also cutting contracts for external consulting services, including $30 million allotted to one company that purchased several unused licenses. In addition to the contract, DoD is cutting $360 million in grants. Included our $6 million grant to decarbonize emissions from Navy ships, a $5.2 million grant to diversify the Navy, and a $9 million university grant for developing equitable AI and machine learning models. Defense Secretary Hegseth says, quote, I need lethal machine learning models, not equitable machine learning models, he added, end quote. So that's $580 million of cuts announced just yesterday in the memo. Brings a total money saved $800 million saved since February 20th, 2025. So in a month, in 1 month, actually technically it's just a little bit less than a month. The DoD has cut $800 million in savings. That's mind blowing. Mind blowing. What do we got here? Let me go back to the comments here real quick. Just wish there would be more clear communication as the plans. It would be. Yeah, no, that's the other thing. So I'm gonna post this up here. True Patriot Outfitters make a great comment. What we have is broke. No one's been willing to fix up to the point. Just wish. And here's the thing. I agree with this statement. People are not willing to, haven't been willing to fix it. It's always been adding more laws to or new policies to get stuff in the way. We're on a broken machine right now. And if you look at our education compared to the rest of the world, we're about 10, 12 years behind China in just like AI and software type stuff. I think the biggest thing that you guys, the True Patriot Outfitters just brings up here is everybody's been kind of yelling and screaming about, hey, what's going on with, why are all these changes being made? And, Elon Musk is doing this and Trump's doing that, and this isn't right. And here's the thing. We've been on a broken system for so long that you have to do something drastic in order for it to change, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not to say that I'm in agreement with everything that's going on. I'll be, you know, and do I think that there's hidden agendas to it? It's politics. There's always a hidden agenda somewhere, right? And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you sit on. I've told you guys many, many times on this show, like, don't take my word for it. Do your research and put the puzzle pieces together and come up with your own conclusion. Here's the thing, and this is where I tie this back to my trip to Mexico last week. Was you can sit down with somebody and disagree with them on something, but if you really sit down and are respectful, no name calling, no getting pissed off or whatever, you will see that both sides really want to go to the want to come to the end result kind of the same. It's just different ways of getting there, right? Heather Elizabeth, good morning. Uncle Dave, good morning to you. Appreciate you guys jumping on. So I say all that because we have to remember there's a lot of people making noise, and the ones that are making the most noise are the ones that are losing money. If you look, follow the money. It's always follow the money. And you can disagree with me. That's fine. I respect that. My opinion is if you follow the money, you're going to understand why people are getting pissed off so much. There are some politicians that are worth millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they have an annual salary of 210,000, 175,000. I'm not mentioning any names. You guys can look this up, but it goes towards that. Moving on. Let's move on. So Pete, good job. Good job. This one here ties into what I was just talking about. It was like some of the things I agree with, some of the things I don't agree with. U.S. natural resources valued at 100 trillion with a T, tango, dollars. Natural resources valued at $100 trillion. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum emphasized the immense value of America's natural resources, highlighting the vast expense of federally managed lands and offshore areas, rich in untapped energy potential. He pointed to the extensive federal land holdings and offshore regions as key assets to energy production. So this is where uh I see where he's going with this, but it raises a red flag for me as well. David, there you are, brother. Good morning. I see, is this going to turn around like a green energy kind of thing? Like, take the offshore wind stuff. I hate it. I think it's a bad idea. There's been whales washing up on the beaches. Don't take my word for it. Look this stuff up. There's a podcast called Environmentally Speaking. They do a great job. They're based out of Rhode Island. You got these offshore wind farms that are going from Maine all the way down to Georgia, and it's causing a lot of damage. And those turbines, I've talked about this before, and I won't get into it too much, but those turbines, they have a life expectancy of about 20 years, and then after that, they're useless. You can't recycle them. You can't wipe your ass with them. You can't do. I mean, there's nothing you can do with these things. It's complete trash and garbage. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it in the long run? I don't think so. I think there's other ways that you can do it. My problem with this, the natural resources being valued at $100 trillion, great. But if you're talking about, okay, let's start cutting, uh, and I'm not saying that this is what's going on, but they bring up national parks and U.S. Forest Service lands, U.S. grassland. There's 700 million acres of surface. There's 700 million acres of subsurface that we have the mineral rights, critical minerals, oil and gas. The Department of Interior oversees approximately 480 million acres of public land, managing areas for energy development, conservation, and recreation. Or yeah, and the U.S. Forest Service, part of the Department of Agriculture, manages 193 million acres of national forests and grasslands. I would not want them to come in and dig a well in any of the forest land or the natural grasslands. I'm a big conservationist, even though I hunt. You guys see my deer in the back there. Hunt, fish, but at the same time, a lot of the people that I'm involved with in these different hunting and fishing outfits, very uh conservation. It's like we put back and we want to feed more into the environment. I think if you start drilling and doing all that other BS, it's going to take away from that. So I'm not really big on the natural resources stuff. I think it's great. I think we as a country should be more self-sufficient when it comes to our own resources, oil, gas, and not import a bunch of it. Just import the stuff that we might need that we can't get here or grow here. I think this is great when it comes to creating jobs, but at the same time, where do you draw the line? Where is the line to be drawn so we're not, causing natural disasters later on? Does that make sense? I hope so. Moving on. What else happened this week? What else happened this week? The Trump administration releases the final JFK assassination files. I think there are more people confused now than they were before. So, have you guys read into this? I mean, there's now the release includes approximately 80,000 pages of previously classified documents now accessible to the public. The records encompass files from the Warren Commission tasked with investigating the 1963 assassination and other intelligence reports. You can find this stuff online now, but here's the thing: I didn't do a deep dive into this because I think a lot of it is crap. I think you didn't really get an answer, and I think the answer is what people, the conspiracy theorists have thought all along. I think that's the actual answer. I don't think it was Oswald. Uh, and as you look deeper into it, it's like, well, so who was involved? This week the new conspiracy is, why was Israel, that seemed like there were some parts about Israel being redacted, that on all these new sheets that weren't there before. So did we really get an answer? I think we know. Yeah, David, yeah. I think we know, uh, and again, it's like one of those is you think you know, and then you go to somebody else, and then they think they know, and it's a different. I'm trying to. It's just different than what you think. So I think they left it very open for interpretation still, which is kind of what I expected to begin with. I would like to. I'm not going to say that. Look at the files, and if you're up to it, leave a comment on what you think or who you think was involved. Um, I think what we've been taught through history as a kid up to this point in my life, now that I'm 47, I think we were lied to by our government. That's my opinion. I think we were not told the truth. I think it was a cover up, and I think it was to cover up certain people so it would give the perception that our government is not would not do something to our own. My opinion. And since I'm entitled to that, that's what I'm going to stick with. So, moving on. And I'll say that I'm not depressed or anything like that right now. So, black SUV showing up at my door. Here's I got two more, and these last two stick with me. You're gonna love these, especially you guys in Arizona. Um, SpaceX successfully returns stranded NASA astronauts after a 9-month mission. I've seen a little bit of this on social media. Haven't seen it on mainstream media. I saw a clip of it on a local news station that was about 15 seconds, maybe 20. Why are we not talking about, is it because Elon went up and SpaceX is owned by Elon? He went up and saved these astronauts. NASA astronauts, I'm not going to, you guys look this story up, but the NASA astronauts have safely returned to Earth after unexpected 9-month mission aboard the International Space Station. They were initially scheduled for a brief, like 8-day stay, but the mission was extended due to technical issues with Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. The astronauts returned via SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule, marking a significant milestone in commercial spaceflight. The astronauts launched June 5th of 2024 aboard Boeing's Starliner for what was intended to be an 8-day mission. Can you imagine getting straight, like, I'm going up to space for 8 days. I'll see you next week. We'll go out, have a beer, blah, blah, blah. 9 months later, you're like, shit, I'm still here. That would suck. However, the spacecraft encountered technical. This was Boeing Starliner. They could not return to Earth after their 8 days because the spacecraft encountered technical problems, including a propulsion system anomalies, which led NASA to deem it unsafe for the return journey. Consequently, the astronauts remained in the International Space Station, integrating into the station's crew and contributing to various scientific experience and maintenance tasks. Here is my question: is why did we not go up and get them sooner? They went up in June of 2024, and they were only supposed to be there for 8 days. Why did we not go up and get them sooner? That's a legitimate question. Like, please, somebody answer that. Why did we not go up and get our people? So we let them stranded in space. NASA let them stranded in space. And they bring up Boeing a couple of times, and there was an article that I didn't bring up, but Boeing is being sued by a family right now from a whistleblower that was found uh, in his car with a self-inflicted wound. And that whistleblower, there's records of that whistleblower being bullied by people at Boeing, allegedly, and put that out there, allegedly, uh, and whatnot. So it's funny that Boeing, there's a lot of safety issues going on, talks around Boeing right now. So keep your eye on Boeing and see what happens there. But why did we not get these people earlier? David, yeah, yeah, I know. Uh, Yeah, True Patriot outfit. They no longer even try to hide the fact that they're in the business of bias information production. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. And again, I find these articles to be fascinating because it couldn't have, we in the military. David and I served together. We were on the same team. Great man. David, would we ever leave anybody behind? Were we ever taught to leave anybody behind? You know, why was it okay to leave these astronauts in space? Now, granted, some people are going to argue, well, they're on the International Space Station. That's they were up there, they were able to transition, they survived, blah blah blah. There was no talks about going to get them in 2024. Nobody attempted to go get them in 2024. And then you have a private citizen who has a company and goes up there, and now all of a sudden he's a bad guy because he went and saved astronauts from space. Somebody, for the love of God, please tell me where the hell that makes sense. Why I don't understand the negativity behind it. I'm not the biggest Elon Musk fan. I'll tell you that. I've said that publicly. I feel like sometimes there's alternative motives to him. But that being said, he took initiative. He had the means to do so. He went up there. NASA didn't do it, which is a federally funded organization. They didn't go up and do it. You had a private citizen that went up and did it. You guys see where I'm going at with this? What is wrong with that picture? You think the government's here to? Hey, we're here to protect you. I digress. Yeah, couldn't afford to give Team Elon a win. Yeah, again, I'm not the biggest Elon fan. He's done some great things. I'll give him that. There's some other things that I questioned. I'm not totally against him, and I'm not necessarily totally for him. I'm kind of in between with him right now. That's my personal opinion. But the fact that he went up to get our astronauts when our own government wouldn't do it should tell you something. That should tell you something. People want to focus on the wrong stuff. I don't know why I'm getting so heated about it. Yeah, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, I guess. All right, David, this one's for you and all my AZ peeps. Arizona lawmakers introduced bill requiring proof of citizenship at state-funded hospitals. Arizona lawmakers are debating Senate Bill 1268, which would require hospitals receiving state funds to ask patients for proof of citizenship status. This is very interesting. Republican Senator Wendy Rogers, the bill's sponsor, insists the information would not be shared with immigration authorities. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. The goal is to track how much Arizona spends on healthcare and undocumented individuals. That I believe. Critics, however, argue that the bill could discourage people from seeking medical care out of fear that the data might be used against them. Democratic Representative Patricia Contreras opposed the bill, stating it could threaten patient safety. So I got mixed about this. Like, I get it. I get that they fear of patient safety, but at the same time, I don't think they're talking about, not how do I wanna word this? Th I don't see in here where it says anything about them, oh, if they're not a, if they're not if they're not a US citizen, that they won't care for that person. I don't think they're denying care because they are not a US citizen. I don't think that. It further states in this that, America must come first, she said, stressing that the bill is about tracking expenses, not denying care. There, that's what I was looking for. If passed, hospitals would report proof of citizenship data quarterly to the Arizona Department of Health Services through personal details like names and addresses would not be included. Though personal details like names and addresses would not be included from a tracking standpoint, if they're tracking how many people are non-citizens being, because that's taxpayer dollars for the U.S. or for the Arizona, that's you guys down there, David. Right? Sounds great, but it will die a lonely death on Hobbs. Yeah, that's true too. Not a bad idea because it would be interesting to see how many non-citizens go through state-funded hospitals. Yeah, I'd like to see that number, quite frankly. I think it'd be interesting. So as long as, and this is the important thing, as long as the hospital is not denying care for a patient in need, I'll throw that in there. Yeah, shouldn't be an issue. It I again, I think it's a it I personally think, it would be interesting to see just from a number standpoint because that could lead to other programs or that could, balance something else later on down the road, uh, or see where money's actually going to. But at the same time, if we were in another country and went to a hospital, would they deny it? You wouldn't want them to deny you care either. So it's kind of a mix up, like like people first, and that's the humanity side of it. But at the same time, where do you draw a line? Fine line. And you can agree or disagree with me. That's fine. Um, I just, mm, but I think it's interesting. So it's gonna, I think David made a good point. It's probably gonna die on the governor's desk, which would not shock me at all. But the concept of it, uh, not a bad idea because there's some accountability there, I think. And with the way that Arizona is growing right now, I mean, they are dumping billions and billions, trillions of dollars just in the Phoenix metro area from Black Canyon all the way down to South Chandler, Apache Junction, all the way out to Goodyear. I mean, there's so much money being poured into Arizona right now. It is absolutely mind blowing how much money is being put into Arizona right now. I guarantee if you don't own property in Arizona, especially down outside of the valley, you may want to start looking because that place is in the next 5 years will probably double, triple. It is mind blowing the money that is being thrown into the valley right now. I was just down there 2 weeks ago for a small stint, and I couldn't believe just how much it's grown. So, um, yeah. What do you guys say we get into some of the shows? I've talked long enough, almost 45 minutes this morning. I appreciate you guys' comments. Make sure you guys share this. And those of you that are just tuning in or that watch this later on in the weekend, please go check out our shows, heroesmediagroup.com. Check out all the great shows. We're going to talk about some of the shows right now. True Patriot Outfitters, because he's on here right now. Their Doc Talk podcast live Tuesdays. In fact, this coming Tuesday, they got Chad Hoover stops by the show for the first time, going live. U.S. Navy veteran and founder of KBF. Chad and KBF put tournament fishing from kayaks on the map nationwide. If you have not tried kayak fishing, and I know Gene's trying to get me into this. I'm only saying this because he's on right now, but I've always been kind of skeptical of it because I'm not the smallest guy. But there have been far larger guys than me that do this kayak stuff, and it's really kind of amazing. I'm getting a little bit more and more into it, and I'm you guys know I'm an amateur angler. I'm doing a couple tournaments this summer, which I'm excited about. Never thought I'd do it from a kayak, and I think I'm going to do one this year from a kayak. There, I said it. I put it out there. Gene, you can hold me to it. I'm sure I'll be calling and asking about it, but yeah, crazy. David, have a great weekend, brother. I appreciate you jumping on. Have a safe day at work, man. I appreciate you. Darwin Larson, good morning. Sorry late. Nah, never say sorry. This is why we do it. This is live, and you can watch this, throughout the weekend. So if you haven't seen it, True Patriot Outfitters, great organization. Go make sure you guys follow these guys. Great group of people. Gene Campbell, good, turning into a very, very close friend. And he's on there in the comments, man. I love you guys. Keep up the great work. So make sure you tune in Tuesday. That is Tuesday the 25th. It's coming up here this coming Tuesday. Cadets on the Gridiron, nothing yet, but we're bringing that back. I just spoke with our West Point contacts, and the boys are on spring break right now, so we're going to be doing some football. We're going to be talking college football here pretty soon, so stand by for that. Cadets on the Gridiron coming up. Faith, Valor, and Growth, another episode coming soon. Stay tuned. The Strategic Veteran, discover the remarkable journey of Jay Patterson, a seasoned chief petty officer who found his calling beneath the waves and later channeled his drive into corporate success. Learn how to transition from the military to the corporate world with purpose, leverage, strategic thinking to turn around struggling businesses and to harness mentoring and second chances in leadership. Great episode, The Strategic Veteran. Because bikers matter, they're coming back next week, so stay tuned for that. Homefront Sit Rep podcast. I do 2 shows a week, Sunday, Monday nights. Great episodes. Please go check them out. JMac podcast. This week, event producer and creative director Rose Wild joins the show. Josh and her explore the challenges of navigating physical health, emphasizing the benefits of holistic methods, and they dive into how early life trauma influences present day decisions. This was a great episode. They talk more about this kind of stuff. She also talks about her 2 production companies and highlights her mission to create immersive, transformative experiences that blend entertainment, wellness, and self-discovery. Check it out. It's called the JMac podcast. Let's see here. Patriots Inside the Wire. I used to say she does a show Tuesdays from 4 to 6 live, Central Standard Time. Nope. Tracy Two Steps, she's going full bore. She's got about 4 or 5 shows now a week, and you can watch them live. We're getting everything caught up. She's got an audio player that we're going to be getting caught up here in the next week or 2, so stand by for that. But in the meantime, if you really want to watch some great stuff, go to Patriots Inside the Wire on Facebook and check them out. They do a live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights now, 4 nights. So please go check them out. Patriots Inside the Wire. Next up, we got Bump in the Road. Love this episode. Here's the topic this week. How to finance a debt-free college education. Somebody's ears just perked up. I felt it. I know you guys are watching this, and somebody's like, oh, I'm listening. Denise Thomas dreams for her children's college almost went up in smoke. A job loss meant that she and her husband lost everything, and they lost everything. So what about college for her kids? Well, with limited resources and no 401k to fall back on, she realized the traditional path to college funding were no longer valuable. So she took matters into her own hands, and through extensive research and relentless pursuit of knowledge, she discovered strategies that would ultimately lead her children to win nearly $200,000 in scholarships. Both graduated without debt and with money left over. I have seen this done personally for a friend of mine. She did it. She's gotten her undergrad and 2 master's degrees through scholarships and whatnot. It can be done. There's work. There are millions of dollars in grants and scholarships for education that is not used annually, and they don't tell you about it. But you can learn more about it by listening to this week's Bump in the Road. Go check it out. Next up, we got the Arms Room Show, the OGs of HMG. Every Monday, 2 p.m. Arizona time. I got a new episode out this week. They're discussing arm structure movement and the basics of what you need to know and practice. The Arms Room Show, go check it out. Love this show. Next up, we got the Misfit Nation podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about the Tuesday Crew with Jake and Steven. We welcome multifaceted Mark Connor, a boxing trainer, writer, a lifelong seeker of meaning. Mark's journey is a compelling narrative of resilience, faith, and purpose. In this episode, Mark shares his journey from his boxing days, his immersion with the Lakota traditions, and the ultimate embrace of his Catholic faith. Through personal trials, including the loss of both of his parents, he found purpose in writing, which led him to writing an award-winning book. Tune in as Mark discusses his faith, family, and the lessons boxing has taught him about life, discipline, and perseverance. It's called the Misfit Nation podcast. Go check it out. Next up, we only got a few here left, guys. Stay with me. Next up, Label Free podcast. This week, Tommy, known as Tommy the Skyscraper Guy, a distinguished real estate investor and financial strategist with over 15 years experience in global finance and real estate development. He shares his inspiring journey from a humble beginnings working as a chicken farm to becoming the key player in the exclusive world of skyscraper ownership. Can you imagine owning a skyscraper? Like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm the skyscraper. He discusses the unique characteristics of skyscrapers, the niche market they represent, and the significant financial opportunities they offer. I think it'd be cool to own a skyscraper. Let's Label Free podcast. Go check it out. Next up, we got your 6 at 6 with the People's Patriot Project. This past week, they got Joe Mesh from Templar Massager, and I was going to get mine. I've known Joe for a long time. And this Templar Massager that he's created, patented, it's amazing. So they spent time with Joe, talked about his ideas, what he's doing with the massager. And there's opportunities for Joe to do some other big things. They talk about that. And then they also have Luke and Lindell singing Still Here. That's their music folks on this week. So go check that out. Now, the People's Patriot Project, they do a couple of shows each week as well. You can see them live on their Facebook page or here on HMG. Next up, I have no idea why. Let me blow this up. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting old. There we go. Now I can read it. Next up, the Decision Hour with yours truly. All my veterans, pay attention to this one. You're going to love this one. Losing Game. How wars are lost and veterans pay the price. Brett, I see you over there on the gram. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Eric Hummel, a retired lieutenant colonel whose extensive military career offers a unique perspective on the inaccuracies of service across different branches. His journey is pretty fascinating. He started as a Navy submariner before transitioning into the Air Force as an officer. His time in Afghanistan is kind of the focal point. And warning, let me just say this really quick. Warning, there may be some triggers in this episode, and this is a long episode. This episode is nearly 2 hours long. We get into a lot of the details of what happened in Afghanistan. We talk about Eric's book. He writes about his experience in Afghanistan, the pullout of the what failed in Afghanistan. There's a lot of things that we really only after, and I think it was an hour and 48 minutes, we only hit the tip of the iceberg with it. There's a lot of things that went on, and he has firsthand accounts uh, of the complexity and navigating through all of that stuff, the day-to-day stuff. It was really something else. So I throw that warning out there for any Afghan vets, um, and those that want to learn more about Afghanistan and what happened over there. You want to listen to this episode. It's a long one, but it's worth the listen. It's called The Decision Hour: Losing Game, How Wars Are Lost and How Veterans Pay the Price. Take a listen to Decision Hour. Next up, we got the other side of the firewall. This week, the pressing cybersecurity challenges faced by rural hospitals, particularly in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic. The hosts explore the optimism of rural healthcare providers regarding their finances, despite the ongoing risk and role of AI in healthcare and the importance of maintaining cyber hygiene. What does that mean? Take a listen. This is going to open your eyes. You wouldn't think you do this. It makes you question whether your local hospital is doing this and what they're doing to protect your health information. Check it out, Other Side of the Firewall. Next up, we got the MSEC podcast. This week, Purple Star, a commitment to military families. I love this. This is a great, great program that they have. The Purple Star School Program is designed to help schools respond to the challenges military-connected children face during their school transitions. This week, Mr. Hovert Dixon Jr. and Mr. Jason Flower discuss how school districts and, community-based organizations are working to support military families. My goodness, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I love this organization because it focuses on the military child, and I think that often gets overlooked. Again, my opinion. I got two more. Stay with me, guys. Chasing Happiness this week, the power of faith and how it plays a pivotal role in shaping your entrepreneurial journey. Life throws a lot of curveballs, right? We often shut down, get anxious, we're overwhelmed. But what if these challenges and the pain that we experience during this is nothing more than guiding us to something greater? What if they redirect our lives, nudging us towards other and better opportunities? Something to think about. Chasing Happiness. Ryan does a great job. Take a listen to it. Chasing Happiness. Last but not least, we got Rise Up, Voices from the Front Line, healing the wounded masculine in relationship. In a powerful episode of Rise Up Sparks, we dive deep into the wounded masculine, how it shows up in relationships, and how, most importantly, how to heal from it. From emotional shutdown and control issues to fear of intimacy and validation seeking the breakdown. 10 key signs of wounded masculinity with real life examples. Good episode. Rise Up, Voices from the Front Line. Take a listen to it. You can catch out all the shows at heroesmediagroup.com and see where they're at. They're on all the platforms. I want to give a shout out sponsors. I got rocking my From the Farm hat this morning. From the Farm, go check them out, fromthefarm.com. If you're a rancher, farmer out there, go check them out. Get on their website, get your product on there. Buy from your local ranchers and farmers. My Tax Fella, it's tax season. I got to get a hold of My Tax Fella. Anthony, if you watch this, I'm going to be calling you. My Tax Fella, go check them out. They've been doing our stuff for years. Absolutely love their stuff. What they do for us, bookkeeping. They get all of your taxes in order for you. Let the professionals handle your stuff. Don't miss stuff. All right. My Tax Fella, go to mytaxfella.com. Forget Genetics. Our buddy Barry over there, best product. You want deer in the woods, you want to grow those deer, Forget Genetics is where it's at. Go check it out, forgetgenetics.com. Jim Neary's Live Bait and Tackle and Warriors on the Water LTD. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys here real soon because fishing season is right around the corner, and I can't wait. Go check them out. Fin Tactical. Great company, one of the newer companies on HMG, and they're the ones responsible for the beautiful Heroes Media Group website that we have. So go check them out. Fintactical, the Freedom People, great people. Love these guys. Go check them out, especially if you're looking to have a trust done. VA Claim Builder, all you vets out there that need help with your claims, go to VA Claim Builder. Reach out to them. Ranger Johnson, get a hold of him. Let him help you out. Let the professionals help you, and it's free. VA Claim Builder is an app. It's free. I love it. Go check it out. What else? JB Auto Clothiers, go check them out. Great veteran-owned. I don't have the jacket on today. Veteran-owned company, and then of course our sister company over here, HMG Beverage. If you want some coffee and whatnot, let me know, and we'll make it happen. So that's it. That's all the time that we got. Gabriel, I see you, brother. Appreciate you jumping on. Remember, folks, this week, protect your mind. Protect your mind. Get out. It's springtime now. Get out of the house this weekend. Shut this stuff off for a while. I challenge you to shut it off for 2-3 hours. See if you can go 2-3 hours without it. Get outside. Enjoy the weekend this weekend. We'll be right back here next week, same time. We may even have a guest. We'll see. I don't know. If you guys need anything, send us a message. Go check out heroesmediagroup.com. That's it. That's all the time I got. God bless you. God bless America. We love you all. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.